in Iraq it depends on this route Tampa, right? There's a very long supply line that goes from Kuwait City to the Baghdad region. All of those other countries, everybody else, 35,000 NATO and other foreign non-U.S. troops have all left. If you had a decisive effort by the Iranians together with Muqtada Sadr of the Mahdi army to cut route Tampa, to cut that supply line, that could become very critical. Same thing in Afghanistan, because the supply line has to go through Pakistan where the hostility is building. You've also got the fact that the U.S. has forces in a total of 11 countries to try to encircle Iran. The 11, if you want to hear them, Iraq, Afghanistan, Turkey, Pakistan, Kuwait, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Turkmenistan, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kyrgyzstan. There's U.S. bases in all of those. Now, let's suppose, instead of being a factor of strength, that dispersal of forces and fragmentation of forces turns into a liability. The standard response, and I confirmed this with a U.S. Navy captain of the nuclear submarine fleet this past Sunday night. He said he had been, when he was in the service, he was in a drill where the assumption was 35,000 U.S. forces are surrounded and cut off in Iran or near Iran. What do you do? Well, the thing is you fire nuclear weapons immediately. And similarly, if you do anything with Pakistan, Pakistan has nuclear weapons. So I think we've got three ways it can go nuclear. The Israelis go nuclear.
Webster, hold on. I know you've got to go, but this is too... Webster, I know you got to go. This is too important. Do a couple more minutes with us on the other side and finish up, put a bow on what you've been talking about and how this will unfold if they do strike Iran. We're on the verge of World War III, ladies and gentlemen.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Alex Jones here with urgent information concerning TrendsResearch.com. The Trends Journal distills the voluminous ongoing research of the Trends Research Institute into a concise, readily accessible form. By tracking 300 separately defined domestic and international trends, the Trends Journal establishes the connections that others fail to see or misinterpret. Gerald Salente's Trends Journal allows you to anticipate change, recognize the implications, and take protective strategies. Individual readers from every walk of life can put the Trends Journal, Trends Forecast, and Trends Analysis to practical use. Extra information to keep you well informed throughout the year when any current event of major social, economic, or political significance occurs. Trends Journal notifies its subscribers of their implications. When you subscribe to the Trends Journal, you'll also receive Trends Alerts. Visit TrendsResearch.com today. That's TrendsResearch.com. Subscribe to the Trends Journal. This information is too important to wait. This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365. Hi folks, this is Alex Jones asking you for a minute of your time to tell you about soap. Not detergents, but good old-fashioned pure soap made by the Cal Ben Soap Company, a family-owned and operated American company. My family, staff, friends, and radio listeners are constantly telling me how much they love these products for bath, hair, laundry, and dishes. There is nothing like these factory-direct, big money-saving, triple-concentrated soaps anywhere. Get a free detailed catalog by calling 800-340-7091 or see them online at 5starsoap.com or Infowars.com. Let's talk to the owner of 5 Star Soap, Marty Schachter, and see what he has to say.
As founder and owner for over 63 years, people keep asking me, how's business? I'm happy to say our business is going down the drain. Call us at 1-800-340-7091 or visit our website, 5starsoap.com, for buying our 1 to 2 month soap sampler. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take a few rounds of calls here as soon as Tarpley leaves us in a few minutes. And then, for the entire last hour, the phones are going to be open only for military and police, because Top Secret USA in the Washington Post is nothing. When you talk about InfraGard, you talk about the clergy response teams, you talk about the threat fusion centers and how they are training the police and military publicly for martial law in the United States. If they start an attack with Iran, there will be real terror attacks, not just staged ones in this country, and they're going to use that to come after you. That's what this banking structure needs, is an outside threat as a pretext to control our lives. And we've got to reach out to the military and police now, ladies and gentlemen, now, before they shut the web off during a war, like Lieberman told Candy Couric on CNN. We're going back to Tarpley here briefly to finish up with how this nuclear war could unfold. It's not just Tarpley. Mainstream news, mainstream analysts, the Russian government are saying this could lead to nuclear war. Our own military says they're going to use nukes. 4 years ago under Bush, they had a plan to use, quote, small nukes. So we'll talk about that with Tarpley in a moment, then go to your phone calls. Matt, Seal, David, Dave, Matt, and others that are holding. I first wanted to just point out to everybody that I do believe in being self-sufficient. Those of us that know what's happening understand the globalists want us to be dependent on them. They want to shut off our resources to control us and bring us into this collectivist system, this corporate collectivist slave grid of full spectrum dominance. You need high-quality storable food, and the place to get it is eFoodsDirect.com. With all the problems in the economy, looming war, the Gulf, all of it, you are insane if you don't get storable foods, in my opinion. And the place to get them is eFoodsDirect.com. That's eFoodsDirect.com. The letter E, FoodsDirect.com, or 800-409-5633. That's 800-409-5633. And lastly, I want to tell you about MySolarBackup.com, a super high-quality solar panel and charger and controller system that can run your shed, run a few appliances. They've got solar-powered, converters. They've got a whole bunch of great stuff. Check it out at MySolarBackup.com. The government doesn't own the sun yet, ladies and gentlemen. And you can get a bunch of these and run your whole house. But it's great at campsites, your work shed. And we've been selling these for 3 years. Our sponsor has, and I've got nothing but rave reviews. MySolarBackup.com. You can run something like a Cola Blue off of it. MySolarBackup.com, or get a free information pack at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365, MySolarBackup.com. Okay, Webster, finishing up, you were getting up to the point of nuclear weapons being used, and the Bush administration 4 years ago said that's part of the CENTCOM attack profile if Iran responds. If Iran as much as fires an anti-aircraft weapon back at an aircraft, they're going to be nuked. Go ahead.
Again, I think you can see three ways. One of them is with this Iran-Hezbollah combination. So far, Hezbollah, as we saw in 2006, has had a counter-value strategy vis-a-vis Israel. In other words, they point these rather crude rockets at a city, Haifa, or some other place, and they hope it's going to hit something. So it's basically terror bombing of cities. But if you have more accurate missiles that can actually hit targets, you can go over to a counter-force strategy. You can target the air bases of the Israeli Air Force. And indeed, I've seen things on the Internet that the Israeli Air Force is ready to flee from northern Lebanon at the drop of a hat and take refuge in southern Israel because they now fear these 200 new missiles that the Hezbollah have been able to obtain. And if you had this simultaneous attack from Iran and from Hezbollah, if they were targeting Israeli Air Force airfields, including in the south of Israel, this could put Israel into a very critical situation. And naturally, as always, as we had it in Europe during the Cold War, if you're losing on the conventional plane and you have nuclear weapons, then you get a tremendous temptation to go nuclear, to escalate to the nuclear level, thinking that you can solve your problems there. So it could come through Israeli retaliation if they thought they were losing in a conventional way. And the lesson of Lebanon 2006 was that they did lose in a conventional way. Second was by the U.S. If the U.S. forces are encircled anywhere, Iraq, Afghanistan, or these total of 11 countries, then nuclear forces might be used. Well,
that's always been the default, going back to, a two-man teams with things like Davy Crockett tacticals.
Right, and then Pakistan, right? Anything that, if you're attacking Pakistan, you have to remember that the U.S. is deterred from directly attacking Pakistan, or should be, by the fact that Pakistan has nuclear weapons. They can defend themselves. That's why you have to do all this subversion with the help of Wikileaks and others to get the Pakistanis going. So you add this all together, there are three ways that this could go nuclear. I would also point to the fact that since I wrote this article, General Hayden, the former head of the NSA and the CIA,
he said the attack is inexorable.
He says it's inexorable, and then we have, as you point to, this very suspicious Japanese tanker explosion coming, yesterday, today.
And they're now whitewashing that, saying a wave blew out a bulkhead, so who knows the truth?
It's hard to tell, but you're now in a very, very